guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. I just want to take a minute to talk to you about why I do not use a GPS. Now, many of you know that my husband was active duty Army for 25 years, and when you live a military lifestyle, you move a lot. You do. And so that means learning your way around a new community, finding your way around, learning where all the roads are, what routes you can take, and all of that every couple of years. So one of the first things that I would do when I arrived at my new community was get a good map of my city, the city that I had moved to. And I would study that, and I would learn the major roads and figure out how to get around town. Now, I'm a little bit of a visual learner. If I see something or if I read something, I see that in my head. And so as I would learn my way around the town, I would envision that map in my head that I had studied. That's just the way I'm wired. But it made it very easy for me to find my way around town, to learn my way of how to get to where I need to be. My husband could never quite understand how I could find my way around so easily. You know, there's been times where I would say, oh, turn here and go this way and go this, and he's like, how do you know this? And it's like, because I look at the map. I see the map in my head. And I'm always looking for the ultimate shortcut. So I look at those maps quite a bit. But that's a whole different topic. Anyways, so I would learn my way around very, very easily by doing this. As a matter of fact, when we moved up to Alaska, I had even sat down and studied with Google Earth using the Street View. So not only did I know my way all around Fairbanks before we'd even arrived, I even studied the Alaska Highway. I knew how to get to every grocery store that we needed to stop at for supplies along the way. Yes, I'm one of those people. But it was worth it, let me tell you. So, that said, when we moved down here to Alabama, something had changed. You see, for the very first time, I had a smartphone, and I had this little GPS in my hand. And when I needed to find my way to get someplace, I could just punch in the address, and Siri would tell me how to get where I was going. And you know what happened? It took me forever to learn my way around the Huntsville area, around Redstone Arsenal, because for the first time I had not sat down and studied a map. I was relying on technology to tell me where I was going, and so I didn't have that visual in my head, so it really took me forever. So that is one of the big reasons of why I don't use a GPS, because I want to be able to learn my way around. I want to know in my head how to get where I'm going and not have to rely on technology. So like I said, I'm all about using the maps. I mean, we have always had one of these. Good old trusty road atlas. As a matter of fact, this is the one we used when we were coming back down from Alaska. You can see, actually, I think we used this on the way up to Alaska as well, because this is the route that we took when we went up, and this is the route that we took when we came back down. So, I've always got one of these, and in a recent video, there was a point where I was cleaning out my truck, and you may have noticed some maps in the door. That is because I keep maps in my truck. What if there's a situation where I am not at home, or the route that I needed to take I suddenly can't take? Here's an example. Now, when we were coming back down from Alaska and moved here to Alabama, we had just passed through an area in Washington State, and that evening a big oversized truck came through and hit an overpass and took out the interstate. The interstate was shut down. Had we been coming through the day after, we'd have had to figure out a different way of getting to where we're going. Now, of course, like I said, I always have one of these around. You know, I had this with me, so I could have pulled up my map to find a different route. And there's not very many through that area, let me tell you that. And yes, I know we were in the United States, and I had a smartphone, so I could have also pulled up my cell phone and looked at a different route and found a different way to get to where we were going with this, right? But what if there's a situation where you need to find an alternate route to get to where you're going and you don't have technology, or your technology fails you? And it doesn't even have to be some sort of drastic like terrorist attack, EMP, blah blah blah. We live here in the South, and in a lot of parts of the country, there's tornadoes. And tornadoes not only can rip up a road or take out a bridge, but they're really good at taking down cell phone towers as well. So what happens if you're relying on this and you have no other way of getting home? What are you going to do? That is where having a map in your vehicle, in your glove box, could really be, you know, maybe quite literally a lifesaver. So it doesn't take too much imagination to think of all sorts of scenarios where you might need to find a different way of getting to where you're going and not being able to rely on your technology to get you there. So like I said, I would really recommend having a map in your vehicle at all times. And if you need a resource as to where you can get a good local map, check out your local visitors bureau. Often they have excellent city maps or even county maps, and they'll give them to you usually for free. So that is just a really good resource for you to find that. And so that is all I had to share with you for today. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are as far as GPSs versus physical maps. Share those in the comments down below. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to y'all next time.